Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 21st of Jan 2026. It's currently 10 a.m. on the West Coast, 1 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember, this is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog on how one trader sees the market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions. Here's a chart of the All Lords, and it's obviously halfway through the trading day, and we're down a fair bit. It's a fascinating moment in history, I think, with everything that's happening with Trump and Greenland and Europe and the repercussions if NATO breaks up and all that sort of stuff. Okay, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in all that crap because I'm obviously not. And but as it pertains to the market, it could lead to some significant moves. Okay. If you just look today, obviously the All Ords is down, but you have like the big banks. So let's just look at CBA, the big boy. He's breaking down from this base, okay, to start another leg down. Got that in a self-managed super fund, so it's a little bit painful. Probably should have got out of that like ages ago, but I've got a 10 to 20, 30 year time horizon on it, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. Okay. It's very easy to look at shit after it starts trending down, but see, I held it through this pullback, all these pullbacks were down to its 200-day, and they looked so bearish at the time, and then they started rallying. Okay, so I think you got to take charts and everything with a grain of salt, and just remember your time frame, because everything you're looking at, every opinion, every chart, it all depends on your time frame. Are you trying to trade this for the next 1 or 2 days or the next couple of decades? And anyway, the point of bringing that up is that it's just breaking down, and it could start another leg down. But let's look at 0-1. I did take myself out of, luckily, back up here. It's just in a free fall. Holy shit. Like, it's just in a free fall. Okay. And who knows how low that could go? It could easily come back to these lows here at 63, couldn't it? It's in absolute free fall. So there is some blood out there already, and with potential to be way more blood. If Europe takes its gloves off and, for example, starts shutting down, a lot of American businesses and trade stuff and blah blah blah. Right? It's a lot more complex than just simply Trump sending some troops to Greenland. And so let's see how it unfolds. But it could be some wild times, and it is just some fascinating time. But what we've been doing on Breakout Wednesday really is taking a lot of trades in gold stocks, okay, and they have been doing really well, right? Not all of them, okay, because it's not that easy that every trade you take goes well, but a lot of them have been. RRL is going well. The new one last week that I know a lot of people were in, was MI6, doing okay. Would have liked a bit more explosiveness. Okay, I got stopped out though. Like, it's not all rainbows. I got stopped out at BGD. Really loved that setup, but came back down, and I just took a quick loss. So that's fine. I didn't actually get out right here, but I just kind of got out. I was down about here. I just decided to cut it. So that's that. And WGN, another one we talked about. I know it's not a gold stock, but I'm very, very close. I'm right in the 30 exponential, so I'm still in it, but I might be stopped out soon. We'll see. So it's not, even though the gold stocks are flying, it's not as if every single trade has been brilliant, right? Let's look at some others. Okay, CMM, I'm in because I love that setup, and yeah, I know the volume didn't come in, but I look at the volume retrospectively a day or two later, and then I will always get in on a trade the millisecond it breaks out. I don't give a shit about what volume's doing, okay? Because the volume might come in, 5 seconds after I buy it. And then it's too late. That thing's up 10% or 5%. I don't want to chase it, right? So I just missed too many amazing opportunities by studying volume, like at the moment of the breakout. But I'll look at the volume a day or two later, and if it's tiny, I'll be wary. Okay, and I guess I'm wary of that, but I don't know. We're in a gold bull market, and it's a gold stock, and it just broke out into blue skies. I'm like, it's as simple as that. Like, I don't need to know much else about that, and it's tight VCP, so just going to try and ride it. like the others, okay? And if you look back on a lot of the other trades that we're focusing on, EMR, like, shit, guys, look at this. It's nuts, okay? Classic setup, trending up ever since. Where's the EVN one? EVN, bang, right? Big day today. And so, yeah, the point is that diversifying, and Peter put a good post about it, Peter Ferner put a good post about it up on the forum, and I found the same thing, like every time I stray away from these leading sectors, my results are kind of a little bit haphazard, okay, and not as consistent. But when I'm sticking to the best sector and it's really just gold, the results are consistent, okay? And so I guess that's the whole point of trading and just believing in the strongest sectors for the now, because who knows how long the now will last. Gold bull markets can last for so many years in a row. The other stock I'm still in and being paid, that's not it, shit, what's going on, is CSC. And so I like it because it's putting up this new little box, and it's just kind of a base with a little right hand handle base, okay? And I'm like, okay, shit, like, I like that, okay? I'm sticking in it. I stopped, you can see it, I've got my horizontal support line, that's why I stopped. And I'm just being patient, and we'll see what happens. Like, if it comes down and stops me out, no biggie. Like, my life's not going to change, I'm not going to cry or anything. And if it bases away and breaks out, boom, I've got myself in a blue sky opportunity with risk reward. Very, very good, okay? And so I would probably, I haven't actually made my mind up, but if this can just bob away in there, like, I'd probably add to this, okay? I'll report back on that if I actually do, but yeah, anyway, so good trades, but also some losses mixed in, and that's trading. And so let me just rattle through, I've talked too long already, let me just rattle through some stocks. I stole this from Rod on the forum. It's not perfect for me yet, it's a gold stock, and it's got this clear base, and it hasn't done heaps yet, has it? I mean, I know it's rallied from there to there, which is huge, but in the bigger scheme of things, look at its moving averages, and they're just flattening out. But I just want this to now just come around and go and then boom. Okay, it would be pretty perfect if it can do that. Pretty much blue sky if you ignore that tiny bit of data. ARD, talked about it last week. I like it how it's forming here. It needs a bit longer still. It does. Like, look at it on a weekly. It's pretty immature. It's only its third week. So, but definitely got my eye on that guy. As I do FMM. These are all Darvis trades, okay? This guy's just bobbing up here. Blue sky, just box after box after box, okay? Strong uptrends, and it's just, it seems so simple, doesn't it? That, like, most traders look at it and think, can't be that simple, just buying stocks in uptrends and joining in on the ride. I'm like, well, it's so boring and so simple. And that's kind of what makes it work, because everyone thinks there's some magic Fibonacci or Gann or some crap that's going to make them millionaires, and it's not. It's just simplicity and just having the discipline, right, to just not sell until you get your exit signal, and the courage to actually take the signals, like, because you got to embrace the emotions and your fear and stuff. FMG, okay, I'm riding the 30 exponential on it. Okay, you can see it hasn't actually closed below it. Today it opened below it, but it's up here. So I'm just very close to getting stopped out on FMG. But if I don't, or if I do get stopped out, then it keeps boxing away here. I'm waiting for a close, by the way, because then I sell the next day. If it can just bubble away in this box, then we've got another great setup. Okay, and I'll just enter it straight away. Well, some of these tiny little continuation patterns, 1 second. All right, it's like, TAM. And we're talking about TAM in this base here. Broke out, had a good move, and now it's just come up in a really tight Darvis box there. And it's a gold stock, and I know most of these setups are gold stocks, but obviously I've talked about their working. Let's go through some more really quickly. West Coast Silver, sure, not that keen on that really, but I thought it's an interesting little Darvis box there. I'll watch it, but I'm going to take the gold names over it. Now, let's quickly, I just want to rattle through some US names, okay? And there's a lot of US names getting hammered, but just quickly what I'm looking at, MATV. This obviously had this base here I was watching, it failed, it came down, bounced up to 200, and then it's come up, it's taken out these highs, and it's base in. This can just grind that base and just tighten up here, and then boom, this is some significant overhead supply and resistance that it would be overcoming to achieve that, and I'll probably take that trade. XMTR, just look, this is a huge, just a bit, another big base that's tightening. I'm just watching that to base away here, and then obviously just break up out of it. TMC, self-explanatory. Look at this ascending triangle. Okay, I know it's got this overhead supply, but rally, bang, bang, bang. Okay, in the metal space, it's pretty interesting setup. CWK. Okay, just looking this on a weekly. Okay, this is like 12 weeks of just tight base in here. There's no resistance until back, like, you know, 4 years ago, you know, 3.5 years ago, and just, yeah, beautiful pattern. Okay, so watching that guy, and this has earnings, I think it was Feb 10, so you got to watch out because some earnings season is coming up, and but CVS, they own a bunch of pharmacies in the States, and they're pretty. I've got this one watch list that I look at all the time, like at the moment, not all the time, but recently, since Trump came about, there's just stocks that are just US businesses. You know, they don't export stuff to the US, to Europe, or to anywhere else. They're just American-focused insure companies. You know, and CVS is certainly one of those. It's got no exposure to the rest of the world, and it's in a good business. It's in a good sector, and it's got a clear base here. I love the horizontal resistance stuff much more than the diagonal sloping stuff, and yeah, it's just a nice clean setup with the only risk being earnings is coming up. That's it, guys. I'm gonna just keep doing what's working, sticking to the gold names, letting the winners run, trying to be super patient. And if you're let me just one quick thing before I piss off. If you're struggling, this is never financial advice, this is just what I would be doing. This is what I did do, and I've talked about it a bunch of times, but this is kind of what I did do when I was starting out, is get a stock. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's just go to the CMM one because it's so recent. Find your setup, right? Whatever that may be. A Davis box in the best sector. Boom, okay? That's your setup. With Blue Sky, okay? So a 200-day Davis box in the best sector, you know, with some VCP characteristics in the box. So it's not just some shitty little box like this one here that's deep and short, okay? So, for example, like I'll set my box parameters at 10, okay? And that will help me find them. So let's go, you know, that'll come up easy there. So there you go. And you can see how this has got VCP characteristics in it because it's got a higher kind of low inside the box, okay? There's low here, and this low is higher than that low. So, you know, that's pretty much what happens with ascending triangles and VCPs, okay? And so, and just train yourself where you're literally hardly taking any risk. You can't paper trade it because that's that's bullshit. You know, get $1,000 and put $1,000 on the trade. You're not risking $1,000. You're risking maybe $50, $100, whatever. Okay, sort of money that most people can cope with without getting emotional, right? And just do it. You know, set your rule. Like just say I'm going to take the break. My stop's going to be say here, and I'm going to ride it until the moving average closes below moving average. Okay, do the moving average thing because it's just discipline and it's training. Like if you enter a trade and you're like, I'm just going to enter it, and then one day when I feel good and it's an opportunity and it gaps up, I'm going to sell it, right? That is not good. It's what dumbasses do, right? You're doing it off gut and intuition. I can tell you now, your gut and intuition is probably 10 times shitter than you think it is, okay? Whereas if you just have a rule and it's like, I'm not going to sell until it closes below a certain moving average, which the moving average itself is sometimes irrelevant, like just choose one, 21, 30, 50, 89, just bloody choose one, right? And do it. And just practice doing that. And do that 10 times in a row without breaking the rules. And then you have become a disciplined trader, right? And I promise you that pretty much no one listening to this will be able to do that. Some of you will be, and if you can, then you can pretty much write your ticket to riches. Take care. Bye-bye.